Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and today I got a super special video for you. I'm going to show you how to get started on Magic Online for just $20. So I'm going to take you from start to finish, from creating an account to building a deck to getting the cards you need to actually play Magic Online to playing a game, and finally the prizes you can win and what you can do with them. Everything you need to know to get started on Magic Online for just 20 bucks. So that's our goal for the day. Hopefully, we can do this in a pretty short, easy to digest package, which means we're going to have to jump right into it. But first, I wanted to mention some of the reasons why you should play Magic Online. There's 4 big ones. Number 1, Magic Online is super convenient. If you want to play Magic at 2 a.m. from the middle of nowhere in your underwear, it is the only way to go. So if you can't get to a local gaming store very easily, don't have a play group and paper, it is a great option for you. Second, the level of competition is super strong. There's no place else apart from going to like GPs and so forth where you can regularly run into Platinum Pros, Hall of Famers, basically all the greatest players in Magic. And if you want to get better at Magic, one of the best ways to do that is just play people better than you. And Magic Online is a great avenue for that. Speaking of getting better at Magic, the third reason to play Magic Online is it's a great way to improve your technical play, to learn the game. All the phases are lined up in front of you. The stack is very practical, easy to understand. So it's a great way to improve your technical play, learn to play Magic. And finally, it's cheaper than paper. So it's not cheap. It's not free. You still have to spend money to get your cards. But if you look at paper decks and then compare them to Magic Online decks, for older formats, especially Vintage, Legacy, you're getting a huge discount. Decks that are thousands and thousands of dollars or a few hundred on Magic Online. And if you just want to play casually and play for fun, Commander cards, casual cards, dirt cheap, often just like a penny, even for rares. So it's really cheap to play Magic Online compared to the paper world. One last thing before we get to how to actually get started on Magic Online, and that is I wanted to quickly mention Magic Arena. So Magic Arena is a new digital game that Wizards is working on, but it is still a little ways in the future. It's in beta right now, and we don't really know when the wide release is. So there's been some concern from people about what that means for Magic Online. Is that a reason to not get into Magic Online? And at this point, the answer is no. Right now, Magic Arena is just going to be standard and limited. So if you're interested in Commander or Pauper or Modern or Legacy or Vintage or Cube Drafts or all that stuff, you got to be on Magic Online anyway. Plus, we're still an indeterminate amount of time away from the actual release of Magic Arena. It's in beta right now. It could be in beta for another couple years. And then by the time it would actually even possibly have any impact on Magic Online, you're probably looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 years out in the future. So at this point, Magic Arena is not a reason to avoid Magic Online, at least in my opinion. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's talk about how to get started playing Magic Online. So step 1 to actually getting started on Magic Online is to create your Magic Online account and download the client. So for this, it's really simple. You go to www.mtgo.com and that'll take you to the Magic Online homepage, which lets you click this download now button and get the process started. So click the download now button right on the Magic Online homepage. MTGO, by the way, abbreviation for Magic the Gathering Online. And once you get to the download page, basically need to do 2 things. First, if you've never played Magic Online before, click the download now link. I'm not actually going to click it. I already have the client, so go ahead and click that. Second, we need to actually create our Magic Online account. So click create an account, and this is going to walk us through a bit of a process for actually starting our Magic Online account. So enter your birthday. It's going to ask you how much experience you have with Magic. Click whatever one's right for you. Then we got to do all the technical stuff. So enter emails and confirm the email. The username is actually kind of important because you can't change this once you get on the client. So make sure you pick something that you don't mind being stuck with and known by for as long as you're playing Magic Online. So choose your username, then you got to pick a password. And then it's going to ask a security question, certify that you agree with everything, click continue. Now we get to the fun part. You actually have to fill out all your personal information. Also worth noting, it costs $10 to get started on Magic Online. But don't worry, we've included that in the $20 getting started fee. So that's part of the process of getting started. So I'm going to fill out all this stuff. Go ahead and fill out all this stuff, and then we'll go from there. All right, so after you get all your information in, complete the purchase. And we have completed the account creation process. You can check your email. I think you get something from Magic Online. So in the email, you're going to get a link to actually activate your account. So just click on that, click on continue. Now that the account is actually activated, then you can just click on the Magic Online link on your desktop. It'll pop up. Type in your username, type in your password, and we're finally into the program. So we went through the account creation process. We activated the account. We actually downloaded the program. So the first time you log in, it's going to ask you if you are eligible for prizes. Read this over, do what is right in accordance with your local location and your eligibility. I'm eligible, so I'm going to click yes. Ask you if you're eligible for player rewards, lets you opt into the mailing list if you want to, do whatever is best for you. And we're finally in the Magic Online program. So we're in the program, which means now we have to do a couple of things. So really quick, going to walk you through these tabs on the top. I'm going to save collection for last because that's actually the most important one for us right now. But Play Lobby is where you can find your games of Magic Online. Not going to actually show you how to get in a game, go through all the stuff, but that's where you find the games. You can kind of use these filters to figure it out. The Store tab lets you buy event tickets and play points and booster packs and so forth. The Trade tab allows you to trade your cards and your event tickets, which are basically like dollars on Magic Online, to other players and to bots that are set up to do it. The Account tab has a bunch of stuff in here. You can see your game history, your order history, etc., etc., etc. Mess with your input settings and whatnot. Help allows you to read over some stuff, some FAQ type stuff. Also, this chat with support link will pop up a window where you can actually talk to an ORZ, someone who's online, to answer your questions, help you out if you run into trouble, so keep that in mind. But the big thing here is the collection tab. So we're in our collection tab. This is new to me since I last created an account for myself. So it pops up this open your new account kit, which you can just click on that. Also, if you go to other products, you'll see it listed there, your new account package, and you can right click it and do open one of these if for some reason you don't get this window. Anyway, let's open the account. We get a whole bunch of stuff, so we can see this stuff in our added to our collection pop-up. We can also see it in our actual collection, but we get a bunch of cards. Unfortunately, they're not really good cards. There's a few rares, but they're like the welcome deck rares, so they're not actually standard playable. There's a bunch of commons and uncommons, some of which may be useful, but basically the cards that they give you when you open an account aren't the kind of things you're really going to build a competitive standard deck with. We also get 20 new player points, which let us play special new player events that can win us some boosters to maybe get some more cards in our account, and 5 event tickets. Event tickets are the big one. Event tickets give us basically $1 worth of stuff on Magic Online. We can use these to enter events that cost money to get into. We can also use these to buy the cards that we need. I mentioned the Trade tab. Any of the bots or people in there accept event tickets as basically $1. One event ticket, $1. We're going to talk about another way to get cards though in just a minute. So anyway, last thing before we move on to actually building a deck, you can see here, if you go to the card tab, you can see all the cards in your Magic Online collection. You can sort them by rarity, so you can have your rares on top. You can sort them by color. There's a ton of filters here, converted mana cost, colors, power, toughness. Very good engine actually for sorting through your collection. Also, one last trick I wanted to show you, this quantity tab is default set to at least 1. So it only shows cards that are in your collection. But if you want to use Magic Online as a deck building tool, you can set this filter to 0, and it will show you all the cards that are not in your collection as well. You can use them to build decks and then get the cards later, so keep that in mind. All right, so now that we've created an account on Magic Online, next thing we need to do is actually get a deck. So for this, we're going to head over to the MTG Goldfish website, www.mtggoldfish.com. And now we can go up here to decks, and metagame. And this is going to show us some options for decks. So there's a couple things I want to point out here on the website that I think will be helpful for you as you're getting into Magic Online. Number one, we have these filters here, paper versus online. Since we're building on Magic Online, we want to set that to online. So we see online prices. As you can see, there's all different formats here: Legacy, Vintage, Commander, Frontier, Standard. For our purposes, we're going to stick with Standard. That would be the format I would recommend getting into if you're first starting on Magic Online. So we're going to stick with the Standard filter. As you can see, at the top of the Standard metagame page, we have all the tier decks: Ramanamp Red, Temur Energy, Blue-White God Pharaoh's Gift, Sultai Energy, and you can see the prices for the deck as well. 164 ticks, 161, 91, 166, and remember, one tick is $1. We were talking about that during our last segment when we opened up our account. In the package you get, we got 5 event ticks, equivalent of $5. For us to actually get started on Magic Online for $20, we need our deck to be 7 to 8 event tickets. 7 to 8, much less than 164, because we basically, where we're at right now, we spent $10 to get the account. We got $5 back in the form of those event tickets. So we basically have spent $5 so far. However, we need 8 event ticks to join a league and start playing events. You can play for free, but if you're going to try to win prizes and like grind your way into more cards, more event ticks, etc., you need to be able to play competitive events where you can win prizes. You can play for free as much as you want. So keep that in mind. You don't have to do that step if you just want to play casually, but we need 8 ticks to join our first event for a chance of winning prizes. So we have approximately 7 to 8 ticks to spend on a deck and stay in our $20 price range, which means we obviously can't build Ramanamp Red, Temur Energy, any of that. Good news is, if you scroll down here, we have a whole bunch of budget decks listed. These are the decks from our Budget Magic series, and while these decks are still a little bit too expensive for our 7 to 8 tick budget, they do give you an idea, and if you want to spend a little bit more to get started, there's tons of potential there. It only shows our current Standard decks, so keep that in mind. There's more old ones, and those old ones are actually pretty important to our discussion right now, because we actually want to use an old Budget Magic deck from before Standard rotated as our getting started deck. So as far as being competitive and being super cheap, ultra budget, just incredibly cheap, there's really one great option in Standard right now, and it's an old Budget Magic deck we played way back in May called 2 Ticks Red. It's basically a budget version, super fast version of Ramanamp Red without the expensive cards, and it's a pretty effective list for how cheap it is. So the problem is, while we're pretty close to the budget range at 9 tickets right now, some of these cards have rotated. So what I did is I actually went through and kind of updated this list specifically for our video series with a deck I'm calling Getting Started Red. So there will be a link to this deck in the video if you want to start with this one, which would be my recommendation, because I think as far as being $7 to $8, this is about as good as it gets for Standard right now. So what you want to do is go to the deck, and then you can just hit edit copy, and this is how you kind of make the deck your own. You can put in your own name, call it whatever you want to call it. You can also change the card. So you can see here, we filter to online. Our most expensive card is Bombmat Courier. So if you want to go down a copy of Bombmat Courier, it'd be pretty easy to change this number from 3 to 4, maybe add in another Open Fire. You can see the price changes, drops almost $1 there. So this is how you kind of make the deck your own, but this would be my recommendation as far as getting started. Use the Getting Started Red deck. I think that's the best possibility. It incorporates a lot of the new additions, Sense Rotation, Ramanamp Ruin, Sunscorched Desert, which kind of improve the deck, gets rid of the cards that have rotated, so you should be good to go for $7.77 if you choose this deck for your Standard starter. So type in a name up here, whatever you choose. We're going to stick with Getting Started Red for the sake of our video. Hit save. So the deck is saved. So now there's 2 things we need to do to actually start playing. First off, we click this download button. So this is going to download a file from the Goldfish website, and then we can head back to Magic Online. And if you click this deck box icon down at the bottom, it'll give you a chance to add a new deck. So click that button, then we click import, click on Getting Started Red. It's already in the standard format. If you want to, you can choose a deck box, but it's just an aesthetic thing. So click OK, and now we have our Getting Started Red deck in Magic Online. So before we move on to our next section, which is getting the cards we're missing to play the deck, what you can see here is we have a mixture of cards that we do own and don't own. Cards that we don't own have this gold squiggly thing around them. So these are the cards we're going to have to get to actually play our deck. On the other hand, we already got all the mountains. There's no gold squiggly. We already have a couple Built to Smashes, a couple Cartouche of Zeals, a couple of Shocks. So we do have some of the cards that we need already, along with some of our sideboard cards. So now that we have the deck in Magic Online, it's time to show you how to actually get the cards that we need to play the deck. That's the next step. How do you buy the cards you need to play Magic Online and play the deck that we just built? All right, so we have our deck in Magic Online. So the next step, for us to actually play the deck, we got to get the cards that we're missing. So the easiest way to do this is hop back over to the MTG Goldfish site, go back to our deck list. So we got our Getting Started Red deck. And what we want to click now is Buy from Card Hoarder. So click the Buy from Card Hoarder button. It's going to take us to the Card Hoarder website. And now what we got to do is really simple. So we have all of our cards listed here. First thing, we should click this Reoptimize button. Just in case, it'll default to the cheapest versions of the cards in our collection. So click that. Nothing actually changes. Card Hoarder usually does a pretty good job having the cheapest options. So there is something else we got to do, though. We have a few of these cards. This imports the entire deck list. But remember, in our Magic Online collection, we already have all the mountains, for example, a couple of Built to Smashes, we have some Shocks, so we don't actually want to buy those. One of the nice things about Magic Online is you never need more than 4 of a card. Once you have a playset, you can play that playset in any number of decks at the same time. So you never need more than 4, which means we don't really want to buy 4 more Built to Smashes. So we're going to cut some things from this Card Hoarder order, starting with the mountains, but also 2 Built to Smashes, 2 Cartouches, 2 Shocks, the Open Fire. So let's go back to the Card Hoarder window here. We need all the creatures, I believe, but we only need 2 Built to Smash, 2 Cartouche of Zeals. We don't need any Open Fire. We only need 2 Shocks. We don't need any mountains. We already have enough mountains. As far as the sideboard, let's double check here in Magic Online. Blazing Volley, Magma Spray, and 2 Destructive Tamperings we already have. So go back here. We don't need Blazing Volley. We don't need Magma Spray. We only need 1 Destructive Tampering. So now we have our order. You can see the price dropped a few cents here as we took those cards off. So now it's really simple. We hit Add to Cart. I'm going to put those cards into our cart. You can see all the prices, all the cards listed here. And now we just want to check out. So we're going to pay with event tickets on Magic Online. So we have the event ticket option here. You can also pay with PayPal/credit card or Bitcoin, but we're going to go with event ticket. So click checkout. Now it's going to ask us to make an account because we don't have an account yet. So we got to click the sign up button, create an account really quick. So now we're logged in, our account's created. We're going to pay with event ticks. Last thing we need to do is enter our Magic Online username because Card Hoarder will automatically deliver the cards to us. They have a bot system that will deliver it to us. So that means we got to type in this name here. So Card Hoarder can find us. We have to acknowledge that we're buying digital cards, not paper cards. So click that, and then we just hit place order. And now we just wait for Card Hoarder to ping us. We're going to need 8 tickets to do this trade. So there's one more step we got to do now. We need to get the tickets to give to Card Hoarder. So right now in our collection, we have 5 tickets. So we need 3 more for Card Hoarder. We also need 8 tickets to join an event. So let's go to the store tab here. Event tickets, so we need 3 more for Card Hoarder plus 8 for our event. So we need 11 event tickets altogether. Then enter your payment information, proceed to checkout, confirm your purchase. And we now have 11 more event tickets. So we got our event tickets. If we go back to our collection, you can see we have 16 event tickets now. What we need to do, we got that message from Card Hoarder. So we need to go back to that. This is the Card Hoarder bot trading us our cards. So they just sent us a message. All we got to do is type in yes, click yes, and hit accept. And now Card Hoarder is going to take our 8 event tickets, and we take all the cards, just drag them down there, put them in our side of the trade, just like I trade in Paper Magic. Hit submit. Hit submit, and now we have the cards we need for our deck. So we're ready to actually play Magic. However, I want to show you one other super sweet thing real quick as far as getting cards. So this is a trick to stretch your Magic Online dollars just a little bit. Card Hoarder is super awesome. So one thing that Card Hoarder does is they offer free event tickets to new players on Magic Online. So if we go back to Card Hoarder, let's go to Google, type in Card Hoarder free bot credit. They have a welcome gift here. So the URL, I guess, is cardhoarder.com/MTGO welcome gift. So all you got to do is enter your email. We're going to enter our Magic Online username, confirm that we're not a robot and that our Magic Online account is new, and just click send request. So it might take a few minutes, but what this is going to do, they will send us an email confirming that we have the free credits. And then once we get it, we can go to the trade tab here and look for the Card Hoarder bots. So type in Card Hoarder and you can see we'll go to Card Hoarder bot right here. Do a trade with them. Click the little trade tab over here. Wait for it to accept. Right now we have 0.47 in credit, so like almost half a tick, because it's left over from when we spent those 8 ticks to get the card we needed. Once we get our free credits, it'll be over 2 ticks, which means we get $2 and almost 50 cents worth of cards to improve our deck. So if we go to standard cards, go to red cards, this means we can actually get some free upgrades to our deck right away without spending any money. For example, one of the great things is the cards aren't that expensive. Like Combustible Gearhulk, not that we would play that in our 2-tick red deck, 0.61 tick. So we could get a whole playset of Combustible Gearhulks. If we wanted to, we could get Captain Lannery Storm. That could be a 3-drop in our red deck, 0.16 of a tick. So keep that in mind, get the free credits. Also, one last thing while we're talking about buying cards, there are also free cards available from many of the big bot chains, GoatBots, MTGO Traders, Card Hoarder, and these are really cool. You can get up to 64 cards from Card Hoarder. GoatBot lets you get 8 a day. If you just type free bot into the trade window, you're not going to get any crazy stuff. You're not going to find the newest mythics. You're probably not even going to find many rares, but there's playable cards in here, like Acidic Slime. If you want to build a commander deck or a casual deck, that is a really strong card. There's Agent of Mass, a fun card to play with, Ether Mutation, Ether Membrane. So there's tons of options here, and these cards are literally free. They cost absolutely $0, and with the Card Hoarder one, you can get up to 64 cards, and it resets every so often. So if you just want to build some fun casual decks, Astroslide, that's like an awesome build around card. Search for some cycling cards, build a deck around it. So keep this in mind. It's a way you're not going to get a competitive deck to grind into standard or anything like that. But if you hit up these free bots and get 64 from Card Hoarder, get 8 a day from GoatBots, and just keep hitting this up, you can get a lot of cards and build a lot of just free casual decks on Magic Online. So anyway, now that we're done with that, we have our deck. It's completely built. It's ready to play. So the next step is to actually play some Magic with our deck. So now we got to talk really quick about the different play options on Magic Online. Now that we got our deck built, let's head to the play lobby that we looked at earlier. So quick overview of the play lobby. There's 3 different game types here. Limited tournaments or drafts. They all cost money. They're rather expensive-ish, although you do get to keep the cards you draft. You do win prizes for doing well, but you're going to need like 10-ish ticks at a minimum to enter a draft, even though odds are you're going to win back at least half of that, and if you do well, you can actually come out ahead playing the drafts. So keep that in mind. You can also use your new player ticks in the new player limited events, so that's a way you can spend those 20 new player ticks you get. Constructed open play is where you can play as many games as you want for free. Doesn't cost anything. There's no prizes available. But if you just want to jam a bunch of games with the deck that we built, to practice it, to have some fun, or any other decks you build with the free cards or whatever, keep that in mind. What we're looking for, though, is constructed tournaments. So with tournaments, there are 3 different levels. Queues are 1 match event. You can play the new player queues with your new player tickets, but these are 1 match. You pay 2 tickets, and then if you win, you come out ahead. If you lose, you come out behind. There's also scheduled events, which is where you find PTQs and the really high-end tournaments. And then what we're looking for is leagues. So leagues are basically the best value for your money. So let's go to Friendly Standard League. There's friendly and there's competitive. The main difference is competitive has a much steeper payout. You need to perform really, really well. You play 5 matches. You're looking at going like 5-0 or 4-1 to really get anything. The friendly leagues, if you go 3-2 or better, you come out a little bit ahead. If you go 4-1 or 5-0, you come out way ahead. And if you go poorly and go like 1-4, you still get back some of your value. So if you click on details here, this is where we would want to start out. This is why we have 8 event ticks. It costs 8 ticks to actually join the league. So we have our getting started red deck. Click join league. We click the only deck that we have at the moment. Click submit. It's going to ask for our 8 event tickets. And our goal is going to be to go at least 3-2 here to get our money back. Also get prizes. That actually means we come out ahead and actually get a little bit of extra value, some treasure chests. But we'll talk about that in a minute once we show you the gameplay screen. But you actually come out ahead at 3-2. So if we can go 3-2 or better, we take our 8 event ticks and we get our money back. Plus we're going to get some free cards, some free extra value. And all right, we have an opponent. We're jumping into the league. You can see this helpful little pop-up here that shows you some hotkeys that you can use. So here's our starting hand. Basically, you see our opening hand. You see all the phases laid out here on Magic Online. Every phase. If you want to stop on a phase, you just click this little marker. Oops, it's locked right now. All right, click this little marker here. So, for example, this is our first main phase. Right now it's filled in, so it'll automatically stop on our first main phase. If we uncheck it, it will not stop on our first main phase. So you can set that up how you want. We see our opening 7. We have some lands. We have some creatures. We'll keep this. I think this is fine. It's not a great hand, but it's a fine hand. So see what our opponent's playing. It's an island, and opponent passes. So play a mountain, and we'll just pass the turn for now. So you can see you can either use these hotkeys. For example, pass until you can do something, stop passing, pass the turn, or you can just click this OK button over here, whatever is most convenient for you. But you kind of see as the game goes along, we are on our second main phase, opponent casts an opt. So if we wanted to, we could respond to opt by like shocking our opponent, but we're not going to do that now. Our opponent's probably playing some sort of control deck by the looks. Opponent untaps. There's a Glacial Fortress, so they're probably playing blue-white Approach of the Second Sun would be my guess. Let's play Karizev, Skyship Raider, resolves, and we'll pass the turn. Opponent. So one of the great things about Magic Online, they cycle a cast out. Maybe it's blue-white cycling. One of the great things about Magic Online is it really does help you learn how to play. We talked about that in the intro, but you have all the phases laid out. The stack is very intuitive and laid out, so it's a great way to learn how to play when you might not really know before. Opponent has a Gideon of the Trials. Takes up on Karizev. Well, we're going to have to kill Gideon. Let's play Ramenamp Ruins. Play Blood Rage Brawler, discard a mountain, and then Cartouche of Zeal, our Blood Rage Brawler. Give a haste, pump it up, and now we get to kill the Gideon with our Blood Rage Brawler, and also hit our opponent for a bit with our Monkey token. Yeah, we'll hit our opponent with the Monkey. So that worked out pretty well. We would have to kill the Gideon sooner or later. The biggest risk is that our opponent's going to have a Wrath or a Settle the Wreckage to get us island for our opponent, and passes. We'll play Ramenamp Ruins. We got to keep attacking. We can't not attack, unfortunately. If our opponent has Settle the Wreckage, then that's frustrating. There's Settle the Wreckage. So we get 2 mountains out of our deck. We hit our opponent with a Monkey. We might as well play this on Crop Crasher. The challenge is going to be killing our opponent before they're able to approach the Second Sun. Once they approach for the Second Sun, the 7 life is a lot. Glacial Fortress. More Gideons. Never-ending Gideons. Takes up the Gideon. Yeah, all those Gideons are certainly a problem. I'll play Sunscorched Desert. Ping Gideon. Open fire the Gideon. Pass the turn. So we're putting up a fight even through the 2 Gideons, We'll see if our opponent has the approach. Another land. And there's Fumigate. I'm assuming this means our opponent has approach in hand. We draw even more mountains. Well, pass the turn. Opponent cycles a cast out. Plays a land. Well, let's start activating our Ramunap Ruins. Sacking deserts. Opponent's down to 15. Build to smash isn't super helpful here, since we have 0 creatures. Pass the turn. Did our opponent find their approach to the Second Sons? Cycles a land. Search for his Kanta. Well, that will help them find it. Plays a land. Well, let's keep sacking our lands. Opponent's down to 13. Jeez. All right. Pass the turn. Unfortunately, we're not drawing any creatures to go with our built to smashes. Opponent flips their search for his Kanta, which means there's not much time left for us in the world. All right. Opponent draws their approach to the Second Sons, and that means we're dead. There's no way we can kill them from 20 before in the next 2 turns. So, all right. So now we go to sideboarding. You can see the sideboarding screen here. We don't really have a ton that is specifically for this control deck because it's not a very popular deck at the moment. It's kind of pretty far down the rankings as far as decks are concerned. But I guess we can bring in the Pia Nalars and go down. Harsh Mentors don't do anything. And maybe an on-crop crasher and try it like that. So, spoiler alert, we ended up losing to approach. And since our goal is to kind of show you how the deck and the game works, we're going to fast forward here to another match, our round 2 match against Sultai Energy. So you can take a peek at that, get another look at the deck and the gameplay screen, and then after that game, we'll jump ahead and talk about prizes and how all that works. All right, so this hand actually looks pretty good. We have a ton of aggressive creatures. So let's mountain and start getting in with our Bomat Courier. Getting some cards under it. Pass the turn. Opponent has Blooming Marsh and Attune with Ether. Get some energy. All right. Well, play a mountain, play another Bomat Courier. Do some attacking. Hit our opponent down to 17. And then post-combat, we can play this Rigging Runner with Raid, so it's a 2/2, and pass the turn. So we have the classic 3/1 drop draw. See if that is enough. Opponent has a Forest. We kind of want to draw a land here so we can play something and also cartouche it to get in hasty damage. Opponent passes. All right, let's get in with our Couriers. Hit our opponent to 15. And we'll just play a Harsh Mentor and pass the turn. Feels like we're in decent shape here. Another Forest for our opponent. And a Longtusk Cub. Yep. Opponent passes. Well, let's cartouche our Harsh Mentor. Make it so Longtusk Cub can't block. Attack with everything. Get some our Bomat Courier cards. And we'll just play another Rigging Runner. Pass the turn. Opponent's all the way down to 10, and they need a sweeper or something to stay in this game because we're going to draw a ton of cards with our Bomat Courier. All right, Vraska's Contempt temporarily keeps our opponent alive. Man, a land is a great draw here. If we can land Brawler, Cartouche, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 we'd hit for. Opponent's going to get in with the Cub. Yep. Well, we'll take it. Opponent gets some energy. And passes. Well, there's a land, so play the mountain. I guess we can't actually cartouche our Blood Rage Brawler. So play cartouche on Longtusk Cub, because we'd have to discard the cartouche. Play Blood Rage Brawler. No cards to discard. And now we just attack with everything. Hit our opponent. Get some more cards under Bomat Courier. So next turn, we can essentially draw an entire new hand of cards if we need to. Hit our opponent down to 7. There's an island. And opponent has Verdurous Gearhulk. Verdurous Gearhulk is good, but I'm not sure it saves our opponent here. Yep, play some counters. Opponent's going to go attacking. Interesting. All right. We'll take the hit. Opponent gets some energy. We draw a mountain. Well, I think what we want to do here is play the mountain and just sacrifice the Bomat Courier. See if we can hit an on-crop crasher. We do not. I don't think that matters, though. So we just attack with everything. We drew the right combination of cards that we needed, because we can Lightning Strike and Built to Smash, and that should be the game. Opponent blocks. So Built to Smash, Rigging Runner. And that's 7. And our ultra cheap Getting Started red deck. Gonna take down Sultai Energy here. All right, so you finished your league. You performed well enough to get prizes. What does this mean? What does it do for you? How does this work? This is the last important thing about getting started on Magic Online for just $20. So when you play a league like we just played, we played a friendly league. That's what I would recommend for just starting out. The prizes are as follows. So there's 5 matches that you play. If you win all 5, you get 80 play points. So we haven't talked about play points. It's a little bit confusing. Play points are like event tickets, except one event ticket is the equivalent of 10 play points. So basically 80 play points is the same as 8 event tickets. The only difference is play points are only used to enter events. You can't use them to buy cards like we were talking about earlier. So we get back our money basically. We put in 8 event tickets. We got back 80 play points. We also get 8 treasure chests for 5 wins. For 4 wins, same thing. You get your money back, the 80 play points, same as your 8 event tickets, plus 4 treasure chests, 3 wins. So 3 and 2 is the last break-even point. You get back your money, your 80 play points, and you get a single treasure chest. And then if things go poorly, if you go 2 and 3, you get back 40 play points. So you spend $8, you get back $4. 1 win, you get back 20. So you spent $8, you get back $2. 0 wins, you still get a $1 pity prize. 10 play points for the 0-5 finish in the league. So what do you do with your treasure chest? That's the big thing. If you're playing friendly leagues, if you go 3 and 2, you're always getting your money back. Then you get these treasure chests. So your treasure chests are under your sealed product tab. If you go to Magic Online, you have a cards tab where you see your collection, and then other products. Under sealed products, you see this treasure chest. So treasure chests are these weird 3-card booster packs, essentially, where you can get 3 cards. Each one contains at least 1 rare from a modern legal set, rare or mythic. There's also this curated list of cards, which are kind of like, I don't even know, mythics. They're more valuable cards usually. And then you can get 1 or 2 random commons and uncommons. There's also other prizes. You can technically open a complete set if you want to. So let's say you went 3 and 2. You got your money back in terms of play points, and you have this treasure chest. The best thing to do, the most consistent thing to do, is simply sell your treasure chests for more tickets. So if you have your treasure chest here, you can create a trade binder. Let's do add new binder, and then type in a name for the binder. We'll type chess and create that. Now we can put this treasure chest in our trade binder. And then if we go to the trade tab, we'll go to Card Hoarder Buy Bot. And if we go to Card Hoarder Buy Bot, we click on our chess binder. So now Card Hoarder, it's the reverse of what happened earlier. Earlier, we gave Card Hoarder event tickets, the equivalent of money on Magic Online, to get the cards we needed. Well, now we are giving Card Hoarder our treasure chest, and you can see over here in the chat it says you can take 2 event tickets. Technically, they are 2.22 tickets. So we can take 2 event tickets from Card Hoarder. We can complete the trade. We now have not only our money back, but essentially $2. So we went 3 and 2. We got our money back from our event, plus came out $2 ahead. In theory, if you go 4-1, you're coming out like $10 ahead. You get your money back plus 4 treasure chests, sell them for 2.22 ticks each. That's another $10. For 8 treasure chests, you're coming $20 ahead. So if you can play friendly leagues and consistently go 3-2 or better, you are slowly gaining money. You are slowly coming out ahead. You can trade your Magic Online cards for real money, but this is how you build into decks without spending money. If you can keep grinding, getting 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins, every single league you're coming out a little bit ahead, which means sooner or later you're going to have 50 ticks in your collection from selling treasure chests. Then you're going to have 100. Then you're going to have 200. And then you can buy tier decks. You can buy into Modern. You can play some drafts. So that's kind of the theory of grinding into Magic Online, is to hit that 3-win mark consistently with a cheap deck and just keep playing as many matches as possible. And that's another sweet reason to play our red deck, is because it's fast, so you can get in a lot of games. It's a really good deck for just grinding through a lot of matches, and if you're winning a lot while you're grinding through those matches, that's the easiest way to build into a collection. So that's pretty much the theory. Of course, there is another option. This is called the super risky, do not try this at home option. So treasure chests, as we were talking about, have cards of real value in them. We can sell them for 2.22 ticks, which is the smart thing to do because we're guaranteed 2.22 ticks. We can also open it, and we could get a Black Lotus that's 100 ticks, or a Force of Will that's 40 ticks. We could get way more than 2.22 ticks. We could also get literal 0. So I'm going to open this for fun because it's a gamble and it's fun. But my recommendation would be that you will come out ahead more consistently if you actually sell the treasure chests. But I mean, it's up to you. If you're a gambler, want to see if you can get lucky, you can always open the chests as well. So we get... Basically, this is, I guess, a good reason, a good example of why opening chests is probably bad. So our cards are Kindred Discovery. Kindred Discovery is worth 3 cents. So our rare is worth 3 cents when we could have sold the chest for 2.22 ticks. Heirloom Blade, 0.8 ticks. So far, instead of 2 ticks, we have 11 cents. We do have a Manamorphose, which is playable in Storm and Modern. Is our Manamorphose worth anything? All right, our Manamorphose is worth 1.65 ticks. 1.65. So what that means is we actually came out behind, which is usually what happens when you open a treasure chest. Most of the time, you're going to get less than if you just sell it. So it's a good example of that. So we can do the same thing we did with the chest, put these into our binder if we want to, our Manamorphose and whatnot. Put it into our binder, go back to the Card Hoarder buy bot or whatever bot you want to use, and maybe we can get 1.5 ticks or something. So we should have just taken the 2 ticks and went with it. But that's basically the idea. Play the deck, grind the deck, go 3-2 or better, slowly build up capital, and then you can buy more decks, buy into other formats. So that's kind of the plan for getting started on Magic Online for just $20. So I think that wraps it up for today. If you have any questions on getting started for just $20, make sure to let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.